G'day one and all, welcome back to Bushka On Blitz. We're a bit excited, sorry about that, I'm a bit excited. We've been recording a lot of stuff, or I've been recording a lot of stuff, I'm the only one employed here. Lately, I received a 64GB iPad Air to replace my iPad 2, which was 16GB. And hence, I've been able to record a much wider variety of material and release a much wider variation of material as well. We've had an IS-7 review, a T43 review, a How to Not Blow Up Your Tank episode, number 2 in that series, and a raw uncut T110E3 gameplay footage. So you can see throwing a lot of material out there, and next in line is the Comet. This tank here, this very stern looking English gentleman, you'll have a look, it's square all over. Not as square as the Cromwell, its predecessor, which I found to be fantastic. A delightful drive. This is very much in the same vein. It's a ball terror. It goes like a bat out of hell. It's got 650 power of horses. You see here the Rolls-Royce Meteor Mark 4B, 650 horsepower with only 32.7 tons to pull along. That basically gives it that magical 20 horsepower per ton of weight ratio, power to weight ratio, which is really the key for get up and go in this game. Tanks like the T54, the FV4202, the Cromwell. Have a look at the Cromwell. You should go and have a look at the review I did of the Cromwell Go Speed Racer Go. That's 28 tons and 650 horsepower. It's even lighter, and boy does it ever go. It's got a 64 km/h top speed. This one here has a 52 km/h top speed, but it gets there and stays there. Unlike the T43, which is an agile enough tank and it has good acceleration, but you can see it's got 600 horsepower at 34.83 tons. So it doesn't have the same power to weight ratio. Not that it's a sluggish tank at all. If you've seen the review, you'll see that it moves around very, very nicely. It's very agile and nippy, but the Comet, for mine, is much better off the mark. And surprisingly, the traverse in the Comet got buffed in the 1.7 patch up to 43 degrees from about, I think it was 36, got 7 degrees worth of traverse put into its stats, which is just phenomenal. It's made it a much better brawler. It's made it a better all-round tank. You can't underestimate just how much a mobility buff will improve a tank, because it has no armor, so to speak. It's fully reliant on agility and speed to get it around the battlefield. Just a note with this tank, it's a lovely tank, but it's got a couple of well-kept secrets. Firstly, that the DPM is absolutely outstanding. The gun, the QF 77mm Mark II, fires 15 rounds per minute at 160 average damage rolls. That is 2400 DPM. Which towers over the 1880 that the Tiger 1 achieves at Tier 7 as a heavy, and even puts the T43's 2130, I believe it is, or 2180, into the dark. And that's a fair suggestion for a tank that's going to rely, when it's brawling and is nose-to-nose with other tanks, it's really going to rely on its DPM to be successful. Now that gun, I should also mention, is a very good grind, because basically you start with a 600 horsepower engine. 650 is lovely, but 600 will get you the same kind of performance in terms of get up and go that the T43 has. And you want to go straight through that second turret into the 77mm Mark II. So it's really a nice grind, as if a grind can be nice at all. It's got a solid, straightforward grind, straight up the middle of the Centurion 1. So all in all, there's a lot to recommend that. The gun is also very accurate at 0.34 dispersion. It's a great sniper, and it's a really good platform for a weapon like this. It's fast, it's agile, it's got bugger all armor. We're going to have a look at the armor profile in a tick, but that fast to the flanks, and then the agility to get behind, use and exploit cover, is something that the Comet just excels at. And when you can pump out 3 rounds to 1, in the case of some tanks, very slow tank, anything over 10.5 seconds, it's going to struggle to put another round into you before you've popped 3 into it, or it's going to be a near thing, and that can really win you some fights. It's just get on the flanks with this thing and see how you go, putting 4 or 5 rounds in 18 odd seconds. Now, let's have a look at that Armour profile. So here you have it. We're looking at it from the perspective, that's the gun that's looking at us, is the Tier 7 T20 American Medium Tanks 90mm M3. It's top gun. You can see all green. Not the best gun in the world, but it's all green, bar for that one strip that occasionally goes red depending on the angle. So I wouldn't be expecting bounces from anywhere, but you will get bounces because you'll be angling your tank and you'll be juking around and you'll be relying on your superior agility and speed to get you out of situations and into cover. If you brawl with this tank, you want to get as up close and personal as possible and force people to bounce on angles and tracks and all kinds of things, and really utilize that excessive DPM that you have. Now, I told you there was two little, well, not trade secrets, but they're not well-known things about this tank. One is the DPM. The second is the gun depression. Oh, look at that. It's like it's got a banana for a gun. It's bent down so much. It's like it can lick its own nose with its tongue. That thing is ridiculous. Minus 12 degrees of gun depression. You'll see in the gameplay there's some spots this tank can get into and still pull a shot off that other tanks only dream of, especially the Ruskies. You know, if you've got that negative 5 degrees of gun depression on a T-54, or it might even be worse than a T-62A, you know what I mean when I say there's nothing more frustrating than having a killing shot, but your gun is just like minus 2 degrees away from being able to actually get down and depress to the point where it can hit the enemy, and you have to move forward just a touch, and when you move forward a touch to lower the gun, something hits you and you get killed. It's just one of those situations you hate. Now, this might not have any armour, but I tell you what, it can fire from cover very, very well with a gun that has negative 12 degrees of gun depression. The FV4202 is criminal at minus 10, but at minus 12, that is an absolute joy. And something people who've been playing for a while and appreciate good gun depression will absolutely adore. But again, the modules, everything else, nothing to write home about. No real spaced armour, just your tracks and a whole lot of good intentions, but you are wafer thin. So there you have it. Very short, sweet, succinct, and to the point. The Comet. An interesting bag of bolts and something that I think I'd recommend. Just as a pure medium, it's almost like a light the way it plays. Very much like a light tank, and I'd love to see it classified as a light tank, if only to help me build up my perks in the light tanks, which I never get round to. Let's have a look at the gameplay, boys and girls. If you have any questions, as always, put them in the comments section of the channel. Make sure you subscribe, and I do hope you enjoy. Oh, wait. Rewind the clock. Equipment. You need to be running rammer, and you need to be running vents. Those two things I feel are must-haves. If you're about speed and accuracy, these things are the things that are going to get you down to 3.5 seconds per shot. I run a vert stabilizer because it's an absolute must-have. I couldn't get one on the Cromwell, and it's a real killer on the move. It's very, very successful, but you could just as easily run a camo net or optics or even a gun laying drive if you wanted, and I would be happy to support all of those in your quest for justice and success. You could even go binoculars and camouflage net and be successful. Consumables, I'm super tempted to run adrenaline on this tank just to see what it looks like pumping out. How much would that be? 1.5, 3, probably pumping out about 19 rounds per minute for 30 seconds. Wow, really interesting. But I run engine boost, and I'm happy to do so. So look, let's go straight into the gameplay. Lovely to have you here with me, and hope you enjoy it. Here is the Comet. Here we are on Fort Despair, never despair. There's a T-43 on our right, there's a Tiger coming up on the left. I don't want to push out in the middle of those guys. I know there's some people on the right there as well, so I'm just going to take pot shots at this Panther. Please note the 0.34 dispersion at work here and the 15 rounds per minute at work here as we get 2 in before the Panther even starts to turn towards us. I'm going to shoot the Tiger low on the front left as we look at him in an attempt to set him on fire or hit his transmission. And then we don't do that, but we're shooting him in the right spot, then we're going to do exactly the same for the T-43. His fuel tank is on the front at the right, and we put one there in it, and then we put another one in there, and we get him on fire, and we try and put another one in there, it bounces. But you can see how close I am to the T-43. I'm just sticking my nose up in his face the whole time, letting that high rate of fire and DPM do its work, and trying to basically psych him out. No, I'm just trying to make it as difficult as possible for him to hit me. Now, after this, we're going to have a look at mines, which is the age-old battleground for mediums, the cauldron that is the hill on mines. Remember, always trying to drag people to your support fire on mines. This T-43, we're going to donk our first shots, and then I'm going to keep driving, turn and reverse away from his support fire. And he's going to be forced to come to me, and I'm going to stay in front of him as often as possible until someone on my team gets up the minerals to put one in his back. There you go. That's all you need. Just a little bit of a hand in this world. Please note the rate of fire here. That's an 11 rounds per minute gun versus a 15. He's fired once. We fired once. We're going to get another round in before he gets a round in. Very interesting. Here is a bunch of idiots that I'm teamed with on Rockfield. I don't know if they're idiots, but honestly, it's a tier 8 game, and there's a tier 6 medium and me up the top here. There's 4 heavies and a tank destroyer down the bottom. But the T-44 behind me has Russian gun depression. Watch me just cruise down the hill, and he can't do a bloody thing about it because he can't get his gun depressed fast enough to actually do some damage to me. Now, big tier 8 heavy. Nothing to fear from a little tier 7 medium like me. But this tank gets around into its spots and hits weak points very, very well. And it's agile. And remember what I said about gun depression? The Russian medium didn't have any up the top. Watch this shot. This is beautiful. The gun depression on this thing is superb. Oh, be still my beating heart. So tier 8 game, and we've actually played a very successful role in it. We do a nice James Bond pirouette out of our reverse, take out the SU-100, and we're up to finish this off. Now, this is well worth watching. Not so much the T-34-85, just putting rounds into him. There's nothing special about that. I want to talk about how agile this tank is and how quick its rate of fire, translates into a real tactical advantage. Now, we've got a T-44 on the other team. We're going to get an opportunity to put a few rounds into him, and he's going to have a crack at us. He's got quite a well-armoured upper glacis on the front of his tank. But he sees us in just a second. Here we go. So we put one onto his front glacis, reverse. Now we're going to go out and we get one shot. We're going to pull back. He thinks we're gone, but we've reloaded so quickly. We pull back. He starts moving again, but we reload so quickly. Boom. It's just, it throws people off. They just don't think we can have reloaded that quickly. So here we are on mines. We've raced to the top of the hill. I haven't made you sit through that again. Obviously a point of contention, and then we're going to have a look at the full map here. It's worth a look. A couple of games now that we'll go the whole hog with. You can see you get hit, but you should always bear in mind that if you get hit once by a tank, you should stick around and stick a second shot in with this tank, because it's very rare they're going to get another one into you before that happens. And you've got to. That's an average 320 instead of an average 160 on exchanges of hit points. You can see very accurate from this position here with this gun depression. You have no problems firing down, and that can be a real issue here with tanks with poor gun depression. You have to expose yourself quite a fair bit, or at least have a very, very low profile like a T62 or a T54 to not get hammered. Now, I turn around here and basically want to push to the back. I figure someone must have gone around the back. I'm counting tanks and there's just not enough there. They're not all there. Where the hell are they? They are more than likely at the rear. I don't know what this IS is doing. But that's me keeping an eye on the map and not really paying attention to where I'm going and who put that rock there. How embarrassment. Anyway, there's someone at the back. Let's go and say g'day to him. Now, it's got decent camo, this tank, so you can take advantage of bushes and the like, and I've also got 15% perks bonus to my camo. But you want to talk about DPM? Watch how quick it takes us, how long it takes us to get through 1100 hit points. It's only a very small alpha, but every 3 odd seconds, he cops one in the back. And by now he's panicking. He knows he's screwed. It just won't stop. Someone make it stop. Make that tiny little knife stop stabbing me. Because that's exactly what we're doing. Poor bugger. Just non-stop. It's a beautiful little gun. A lot of fun. I find it to be a lot of fun anyway. So I'll fast forward through the rest of this because basically this bloody stupid tiger from their team decided he was going to flank right up until he found a safe respawn. Then he was going to sit and respawn. And he didn't care if it was respawn in our team or their team. That's where he lives, in respawn. So we fight him for a wee while. And he refuses to come out and I refuse to go out. And because I'm not an idiot and he's an idiot. Whatever. He's probably not an idiot either. And then we take advantage of the high accuracy of the weapon and the huge rate of fire, and we're randomly throwing stuff out there, but you can see here, look at this thing go. Superb little tank. We pump on down. Now, I don't know why, but it wasn't hard at all to get. It's probably because it's a good tank, but getting gameplay video for this and the T43 was exceptionally easy because basically the games were all good. But they always seem to be around 2,800 to 3,000 damage. 27, 28, one or the other. Now, this is mines from the other side. I've asked for help on the hill because it's where you really should be going, and I'm pumping along here hoping that everyone else is following. And voila, we get up. There's another comet. There can be only one Highlander. Again, I don't know if anyone else gets that reference. We're trying to move away from where his support fire is, and he's done the same thing with me. So it's two like-minded tanks doing like-minded things. Now you can see we're both worried about getting hit from behind. But we're trying to stay as close as we possibly can at a very good angle. And he's so panicked he just runs into a rock. Probably not his best moment. Anyway, onwards and upwards. We're now going to go around here and put this 15 rounds per minute to very good use, shooting into the unprotected sides and flanks of unwary tanks, which is what you want to be doing as a medium. Anytime you do it fair, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion. You can see that VK, slow turret. He's finally got it round. We've got two into him already. We move back. They think we've moved off. They start looking at someone else. We move forward. We move back. They think we've moved off. The reload's so quick, we're going forward again. The VK is going to cop this one. He's fired, so we're not going anywhere. Before he gets another shot off, he'll be dead. And onwards and upwards. You can see that Hellcat. Someone gets him before I can help him along. I actually have a very, very poor bit of gameplay here. Full of bloodlust and stupidity. I knocked this M4 on the head, but mate, the IS gets me a real good one, and it's just by me being overconfident. So you can see, as a brawler, it's improved no end. It's so much more manoeuvrable, and its rate of fire, it really lends itself to just getting stuck in with other tanks. Now, I know there's 2 tanks left, and we've got 5 tanks, so I throw caution to the wind and just sit here like a honeymooner's proverbial, and the IS pumps one good one right into me, and all for the sake of not moving 10 metres to my right to the cover, because I want to get a top gun. Well, there's your top gun, Bushka, and you deserve what happens next when you think you're in cover, and the IS says, I don't think you're in cover at all. I think you're completely visible, and I'm going to put one straight in here. Fair play. You can hear me. I realise I've been a duffer. So there you go, 2800 again. It's like the magic number with this tank. You're always running around 2800. We're going to be doing this on our own. So you're going to get two commentaries here. One from Bushka in the game, talking to himself, and one from Bushka here, talking to himself. Yeah, well, this is a pile of shit tickets. What? Well put, sir. What does this I don't know what this Cromwell's doing. It's very interesting. I'm not actually sure what this guy's doing. Defend the fucking base yourself, buddy. Look at the gun depression here. No problems whatsoever. Beautiful gun depression. This is one of my favourite spots. You can really do some damage up here. Very accurate weapon. Look at this go. Not a lot of target there, but it's hitting it all. And we're not using APCR either. Let's go, hon. See, it's got a lovely, lovely firing on the move ability, doesn't it? That vert stabilizer helps a treat. So I think we're a bit lower down the totem pole here in terms of damage, but we did spot 6 tanks, which is always something to be proud of. I like getting spotters, very handy. But again, very solid effort. Oh, and you're getting Whistling Bushka as well. Aren't you lucky? 2 Bushkas for the price of 1. I need to remember to turn the bloody microphone off when I'm recording gameplay. Anyway, onwards and upwards, as the saying goes. Now, being patient in this tank is very important. You can see here we're on the right flank of Desert. You can see this Panther. Rather than muck around here, I've just had a shot hit me from my flank. I'm not interested in being damaged on the flank just for the sake of dogfighting a Panther. I'm going to go down here, put a couple on the move into the Cromwell, and then bump him to finish him. Oh, superb. And it's dragged me all the way around, straight into their back line, and I'm ripping into the campers big style. How long do you reckon it took that bloke to get up there just to have to get down again and run into this guy? Unbelievable, the way people think in this game. Very good gun on that Tiger 1, and I'm paying it a lot of respect. He's still going to get one into me. I thought he should be reversing here, and he would reverse, but he didn't. He was desperate to get an extra one in, and it cost him his game. So you can see, being a bit patient, we left that Panther alone because we didn't want to get hammered by the tank destroyers in that camping Tiger 1, and it was the right decision. Went down, cleared out the Cromwell, cleared out the back, and the Panther's still sitting there stuck in the middle of nowhere. And you'll see we dust him up pretty easily. We bust his track as we come over the top of the hill here. Swerve, make him miss. Look at the rate of fire just go. It's such a good tank for brawling tier 7 to tier 7. Just give his track. Absolutely annihilate him. Panther, for me, is just a horrible tank. I'm sure that guy's probably thinking the same thing right now. Rate of fire, par excellence. It's worth noting this is a tier 8 heavy tank, so I'm being very cautious with this one. because I know that an IS-3 into the side of a Tier 7 medium is not a funny thing to watch when it's you driving the Tier 7 medium. But there's a chance for a shot in the back. I was hoping of tracking, but no such luck. And I'm going to wait for the cavalry before I go and stick my nose out here. But again, once he fires, all bets are on. Watch this. This is quite funny. I get 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3 shots before that poor old IS-3 can fire
Look at
again.
that rate of fire. 3 rounds to every one.
I'm pretty happy about the rate of fire, as you say. Plenty of bling there. And about 2,900 damage again. And here we have the old Comet in the silent films era, going like a bat out of hell onto the flank, and I've sped this one up for comedic purposes. Look at this. Range on that poor old IS. He has no clue where the damage is coming from, but the love won't stop. It's a Tier 8 game, mind you. Victim number 1. Chase it down, my friends. Chase it down. You can see this rate of fire on this tank is the most fun part about it. We switch up from the Tiger 2 to the T-34 because he's on lower hit points basically, and he's a slower tank. Look at that. Just non-stop. Victim number 2. Don't stop shooting. This is the most fun gun. Victim number 3 and victim number 4. We literally pumped 2 kill shots in 3.5 seconds. It's the worst kill stealing tank known to man. So we get a lot of bling for that one too, because it was a Tier 8 game, and 2,600 damage led the way. Baby Penis, lovely name from the Ferdinand and the other team. Can't wait to see that one in game again. So what do I think of this tank? It's brilliant. Go out, grind it. It's a good grind, as good as a grind can be. It's a good line of tanks. The 8th and 9th tier are a bit tough, and the FV4202 is a really interesting tank as well at Tier 10. But at Tier 7, it's an absolutely joyous tank to drive. It's great rate of fire, great damage, and a little bit different from the norm. So I've been Bushka On Blitz. If you want to catch me, as always, I'm on the English-speaking forums of the Asian Blitz portal. Drop me a line on the comment section below, or just hit me up in the game. Good luck out there on the battlefield, and I'll see you soon.